All right, you guys, today we are going to be doing a Q&A. I'm going to answer some of your questions that I threw a poll up on Instagram. If you guys haven't followed me on Instagram yet, please do. And all the answers that I give in this video is mainly spoken towards men because I don't know how it is to be a woman. Obviously, I have a little bit of insight from my wife, but I can only answer things as a man for men. Alright, so I want to talk to you guys about a piece of tech that has brought so much value to my life. It's a bit of a weird one, but I promise you everyone and anyone can utilize this. So this right here is the EcoFlow Trail 300. I believe that's what it's called. Now, this thing has been my best friend for the past week. And I want to share all of its capabilities with you guys on what it can do and how I use it as well. And I'm going to link it down below as well in case you guys want to pick it up. So essentially what it is at the end of the day is it's just one big power bank. But what makes it so nice and convenient is obviously the size. It fits in my car, it fits in my backpack, and it also fits in my living room. So it has 6 different connectivity ports. It has 2 USB ports, 2 USB-C ports. It has a 12 voltage, literally the stuff that you see inside of your car. And then it also has this plug right here where you can connect a guitar or some type of power source. Now, I really do enjoy this because it's very useful for me in 2 use case scenarios. Number 1 is at the house, because in this living room, I have all of my outlets pretty much taken up by lamps or it's covered up by furniture, therefore leaving me and my wife with no outlets, hence where this little guy comes in. So it's convenient because it comes with a handle. It weighs less than 5 pounds, so it's not that heavy, like I can carry it. And whenever I need to charge any of my devices, I can just pick this thing up. I typically keep it under my coffee table and I can charge all of my devices at once. I've even charged my camera, my iPad, my iPhone, my MacBook, and my phone all at once, utilizing this guy. Earlier this year, right after Ramadan, I think it was early April, I went to Big Bend National Park, and power and water supply over there is extremely limited. At the time, I didn't know that we're not going to have any outlets at our Airbnb, and this little guy would have made so much sense to bring. So now that we're going into the colder months of the year, I'm excited to start planning more road trips and more camping trips. And this little guy is something that I'm going to rely heavily on because you can see up here, it shows you the amount of hours of charge it has left. And then it also shows you the voltage of input and output that it can generate. Now, additionally, from a creator perspective, I can also bring this along with me on shoots. If I'm shooting outdoors or even if I'm shooting at studios, I can literally just plug in my dome light into this battery pack and it can power up the whole set. So yeah, I just thought this is something really cool to share. The first question is from Sarah. What do you do to stay focused and start doing stuff early? I struggle a lot in both. So, good question. Growing up, I struggled a lot in starting my days early as well. I found myself to be very much a night owl, and our deen tells us that there is barakah in the morning. There's blessings in the morning, right? So we're obviously told by God the first couple of hours of the day, there's a lot more blessings. So as someone who struggled with the same issue and who would do a lot of work in the evening versus now being someone who wakes up early, right now at the time I'm recording this is 9 a.m. I've already did work, I woke up, I spent time with my wife, I've had a meal, and my mind is racing. Right now, a lot of you guys who are night owls and can't conquer the morning, you wake up at probably 10 or 11 a.m. By the time you roll out of bed and check your phone and do your skincare and get in the shower, it's already 12 noon. And by the time you actually get work done, it's 1 or 2 p.m. Because how do I know this? I've been there before. Right? But here's the answer that you're looking for. The answer is there is no way to become a morning person or to get things done and just wake up in the morning other than establishing a goal big enough that makes you get up in the morning. And I know it sounds super cliche, but let me explain. So when you have a goal that requires a lot of effort and a lot of time, you're going to realize that waking up at 12 or waking up at 1 p.m. or, say you don't even wake up that late. Say you wake up at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and you're telling yourself, you're lying to yourself, oh, that's not too bad. I can wake up at 8 a.m. and I can get started at 9. And, by the time I log in, it'll be 10. So from 10 to 3, I can work, or 10 to 6, I can work. When you have a goal that's big enough, you're going to realize you need more time. Why do you think entrepreneurs or people who are doing so much with their day, they also have 24 hours, but why do you think they get up at 4:30 a.m.? Why do you think they get up at 5 a.m. or start their day from Fajr, right? Allah tells us, God tells you, He's literally telling you that there are blessings in the morning, yet we decide that, no, I'm going to reject what God has told me is good and I'm going to follow my own schedule. So you need to understand that focus comes from having a goal. When you have one unified goal and everything points in that one direction, it is hard for you to have distractions because you know that the only thing that I need to do is focus. In the beginning, just like any other thing that's hard to achieve, is going to be difficult, right? Running a marathon is difficult. Getting up early is difficult. But how do you do that? Less is more. You need to minimize the distractions that you have going on in your life. So a couple of hours before you go to bed, turn off your screens, read a book, spend some time with your family, spend some time with yourself. And you have to go against your programming because the person who asked this question, Sarah, if you're listening, if you cannot wake up early in the morning, your brain is already programmed that way. So you have to go against the grain, and going against the grain requires 2 times more effort than doing the things that you're comfortable with. So if you need to break through that, this is what I had to do. If you need to break through that bad habit of staying up late and snoozing your alarm and saying yes to comfy sheets and saying yes to going back to bed after Fajr, you need to go against that for at least the minimum 1 year in order for you to change that habit or that version of yourself, right? You have to understand that your ability to focus is what's going to separate you from success and being a failure. The only thing that separates a successful student from a failure student or someone who failed the class is their ability to focus in class. It's their ability to take notes. Is their ability to focus on the material itself. The only thing that separates your ability to have a connection with God is focus in your prayer. So when you think of things like that and you bring an intention behind all of it, that I want to move life intentionally and I want to have focus, then you'll find opportunities all around you to implement that. All right, next question. Abir asks, any tips on dealing with a heartbreak? So I'm assuming this is asked by a man. I've been through heartbreak. If you've watched this, you've probably been through heartbreak as well. If you haven't been through heartbreak, it's inevitable. You are going to, either a girl is going to break your heart, or your parents are going to break your heart, or you're going to lose a best friend and he's going to betray you, and you're going to have to go through heartbreak. There's no one in the world that can say they haven't been through some form of heartbreak, some way, shape, or form. And especially as a man, if you're going through heartbreak, this is one of the best opportunities that you can have in your life to create something out of yourself. Why? Because I would argue that heartbreak is traumatic. Because us as men, we feel heartbreak a lot more. It's like losing a child, right? So I'm going to answer this question assuming that heartbreak is with a female, right? You love the girl's probably out doing God knows what, or maybe she just wants to focus on herself. And you're probably going thinking, what can I do to get her back? The only thing that you can do to deal with heartbreak and to get through heartbreak is to focus on yourself. The reason why she left you in the first place is probably because you didn't give her a good enough reason to stay. And that is just the truth of it. No good woman is going to want to leave a man who is worth staying in a relationship with, right? So I know this is harsh and it might hurt your feelings, brother, but I say this because I genuinely care. And for all the guys out there who have been through heartbreak can agree on this point. The only reason why a girl will not stay with you or marry you is because the life that you are leading and the person that you are is not good enough for her to want to stay. If it was, then she wouldn't have left, right? And you're asking this question because she probably broke up with you, not the other way around. What I would say is focus on yourself, focus on your relationship with God, focus on making more money, focus on leveling up your physique, focus on all the domains of life, focus on building a life that is worth being a part of. And I promise you and I guarantee you, the fruits of your labor will show, and the woman that you are going to marry and you are going to be with and who's going to have your children is going to benefit from those. And then you can sit back and you can understand and relax that I've built a life for myself where I know that my woman does not want to leave, right? Now, going from a more godly and spiritual perspective, you have to understand abundance. You have to understand that God did not just make one singular person for you. okay? I can answer this question on a whole separate video, but to keep things short, you have to understand it. I believe Mufti Menk said it himself. Do not tie yourself to one person and one person only. Do not close your eyes to one person. I believe those were his exact words, but it's very true. There's 8 billion human beings out there. Do you think there's only one person that you're compatible with, right? If you are a man and you're telling yourself that, no, she was like this and she said this to me and it worked out perfectly, brother, you are a man. You can go out and create your circumstances. You can go out and lead a woman into her feminine and have her be a part of the life that you are going to build or are building or have built. You know what I'm saying? My biggest tip about dealing with heartbreak, and you have to do it for yourself. And the only thing that's going to make this worth it is if you do it for yourself. It cannot be done for her. It can't be done for your friends. It has to be done for you and yourself only. Why? Because you have a responsibility as a man to yourself and to God to prove to yourself and to prove to God that you are capable of doing great things. And when you can prove to yourself that you're capable of doing great things, then the right woman is going to come and want to be part of that path. Okay? So I'll give you an example. I use myself as an example. Not many of you guys know this, but my wife and I, we've known each other for a good year to, or around 2 years before we got married. And during that time, we've tried very hard to get married before. But fortunately, it did not work out. Why? Because every single time that I tried to pursue her and, talk to her family and talk to her and convince her to be part of my life, I knew at the root of my heart that I was not ready to lead a woman. I was not ready to embrace a woman into my life. But it was only until I sat with myself and pulled myself away from that situation and focused on myself and focused on my health and focused on my social circle and leveling up my physique and leveling up my business and doing all of these other things that my wife saw. Not because I was doing it for her, but because I genuinely wanted to do it for myself and I understood my manhood, is when she contacted me. I didn't even have to contact her, but she contacted me back and said that she wants to be a part of my life. And then we got things done. So my advice to you, if you are dealing with heartbreak, if you are still dealing with heartbreak and you are a man in your 20s and you're a young man, you have to understand that you are capable of great things. You need to wake up, stop crying about it, and go out and build something. Build your physique, build a business, learn how to level up, learn how to make money online. Learn to build a personal brand or to be of value to creators or to businesses or something that's digital related, because that's where the economy is going. What is the most unexpected aspect that isn't spoken about with regards to marriage? This is an easy question to answer. I think the Muslim community as a whole over glorifies and over romanticizes marriage. I don't think there is a need for youngsters to get involved with a sister just because the deen said so, or just because they find a sister attractive. What you need to realize is that there is a precursor to getting married young. Yes, I am an advocate for young marriage because I got married young. I got married at the age of 22. But I would advocate even more that in order for you to get married, there's a precursor to that, which is building a foundation for your finances and for your life. Understanding yourself as a man, understanding your emotions, understanding how it is to take care of someone. Those things are way more important than just ticking off the box of getting a nikah. Because you see it all the time. You see young people getting married and then they don't really know what they're doing in the relationship. They don't really know what they're doing in the marriage. And they're going about it like teenagers, but they're married, and then time goes on. The man never puts himself in a position to be respected. And then the woman doesn't find him respectable because he's been goofing off a bit too much. And then now you have a marriage where the woman doesn't respect the man and the man doesn't respect himself enough to care about the woman not respecting him. But that is probably the most unspoken thing I see a lot in marriage, as well as commitment. I feel like our generation is so soft and we have a lot of commitment issues. With the age of social media and people seeing so many young people online, men think that, oh yeah, just because this girl is not smiling at me all the time, I can just get another one. And girls think just because this man isn't living up to my standards, I can just go get another one. Because you're seeing so many faces online. You swipe. And it builds this idea in your head that, okay, if it doesn't work out with this one, I'll just get another one. But what you don't understand is that in marriage, that happens very often. Your partner is going to disappoint you. Your partner is going to make you angry. They are going to heavily weigh down upon you, but you can't run away from that. And you can't turn your face and be like, I don't want to deal with this problem anymore, because you signed on. That is your problem. The person is something that you have to deal with, and you have to get good at dealing with each other. And all the answers that I give in this video is mainly spoken towards men because I don't know how it is to be a woman Obviously, I have a little bit of insight from my wife, but I can only answer things as a man for men. But I feel like as a man, that is actually good for you when you're dealing with conflict and you're dealing with stress and you have to figure out and jump through all these hoops and get all these different philosophies and all these different Islamic perspectives and merge it into one and then be competent enough to make your own decision and learn how to steer your own ship. That is actually healthy for us, you know? But I think even I was guilty for this when I first got married. A lot of young men would run away from that type of stuff. They'll say, no, that's too much. I don't want to deal with that. She's causing too much headache. She's annoying, yada, yada, yada. But my honest opinion to that, brother, is that's normal. What's the key to success? Actually, let me analyze this. Let me think about this before I mess up and say something stupid. What is the key to success? I wouldn't say the key to success is being happy or hard work, because I think all those are, the byproducts. Some of them are prerequisites. But I feel like the key to success is if you're actually building a life that you're proud of, if you're doing things every single day that you're proud of. Because I would argue that as a man, you have so many problems in your day. Your day-to-day life is full of problems, right? You can either choose to run away from them, or you can face them, overcome them, and be proud that you overcome them, that you are the person that can overcome it. I would say the key to success is making yourself proud and making God proud. Like proving to God that he has made a servant, a warrior, worthy enough to take the battles, to take the obstacles and come out on the other end proud. Because everyone wants the key to success, but no one wants to do the hard work. But when you do the hard work, you're proud of yourself that you can do the hard work. And that's what it is. It's pride, at least for me. Like, would much rather be proud than happy. Or I'd rather be like sad, but I'm proud that I did something, than be happy and not proud. Does that make sense? I can go to bed at night feeling successful if I'm proud of the actions or the work that I put in that day. You know what I'm saying? How do you stay disciplined and God focused? So I would say being disciplined and God focused go hand in hand. I think if you are God focused, you can only be God focused if you are disciplined, and you can only be disciplined if you are God focused. Because when you focus on God and you focus on a higher power telling you what to do, it clears out your emotions. It clears out the feelings of you wanting to do things. For example, as a Muslim, I have to pray 5 times a day. Now, if I make that a part of my life is God focused, right? If I'm thinking about how can I schedule my day around these 5 prayers, my life is God focused. Now, on the days that I'm sick, on the days that I'm busy, on the days that I'm not feeling like I want to pray, yet I still get it done, am I a disciplined man? 100%, right? And if I can God consciously discipline myself to pray 5 times a day, then would I not be able to discipline myself enough to go and do the things that I actually want to do or not want to do? I feel like discipline is also where you pull your strength from. Because if you root yourself inside of God's glory and you do it for Allah's pleasure, and you root yourself in God's pleasure, it'll be so much easier for you to do the hard things, because it's a win-win situation. If I do this for God, then he's going to be happy for me, and therefore he's going to give me a good life. Not in a transactional way, but in a way that you understand that God is the all-giving. He is extremely abundant. There is no limitations to what he can provide and what he has in his capacity. Because everyone wants to feel good, and everyone wants to feel like working out, and everyone wants to feel like making money. But if you look at it through the lens of, I know that this is what God wants from me. I know that God is testing me through these trials and tribulations and putting all these obstacles in my way, and he wants to see if I have what it takes to overcome it. You're not going to need motivation. You're not going to need to feel a certain way to get the job done. You're a man and you're going to get the job done irregardless. Does that make sense? I'll give you an example. Say you have a wife. You have a woman that trusts you with her life. Would you not say that's also a responsibility from God, that he has entrusted you with this young woman's life to protect and to provide for her? So every single morning when you wake up and your only thought is, I need to make more money, I need to level up, I need to go to the gym, I need to grow myself as an individual, is that not you in the pursuit of God's pleasure? I would say, like, if you're not a disciplined person, you are selfish. Because when you're not disciplined, you love food more than you love health. When you're not disciplined, you love comfort more than you love praying. When you're not disciplined, you like being broke more than you like having freedom and being rich and having money. When you lack discipline, I would say it's disrespectful to all the people in your life that believe in you, and it's disrespectful to God because He created you, and you, one singular sperm cell, has out-competed all the others that tried to get into your egg. You are here on this earth for a very specific reason, and it's disrespectful for you to not get the things done that you know you need to get done just because you're not feeling it. If you keep telling yourself that, oh, I don't feel motivated, I'm not disciplined, I struggle with discipline, me and discipline just don't get along, like, I don't know why I just can't get myself to do it, you need to go out and stop telling yourself these things, because these things have an effect on your mind. And your mind is the strongest muscle that you have. It's the strongest force that you have in your life. If you don't have control over your mind, you have control over nothing. But if you have control over your mind, you can control everything in life. You need to tell yourself every single day that you are a disciplined individual, and you need to go out and prove yourself that you are who you say you are. The point that I'm trying to make over here is that discipline starts in the mind. If you can conquer your mind first, and you can stop telling yourself all this imbecile BS that you're not disciplined and you need motivation, you need to feel it. If you can cancel that out of your mind and just delete that file off of your brain, and you can tell yourself that you are disciplined, I guarantee you that you can go out in the world and you can achieve great things, and you can achieve the things that you want to do. Yeah, I hope you guys find this. But if there's any questions that I haven't answered that you guys really want my opinion on or my perspective, drop them in the below comment section, and I will do my best to respond to them as I usually do. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Fill your cup and stay blessed.